Hello, welcome in. Welcome. How y'all doing today? Welcome in. We'll get started in just a minute. Let me make sure. Let me see what y'all can see. I wonder if I can redo how my chart is so I can make sure y'all can see the whole chart. I don't know. Welcome in. Hello. Thanks for joining. Let me add all of the pairs back to my watch list. I think I decided to stick with Awanda as far as the broker that I'm marking my pairs up on. Make sure. Yeah, Awanda. Let's do this. Hello, welcome in. Where is it? Here we go. Hello. Just adding all the pairs back to my watch list so we can mark everything up for the week. If you have a pair that you want me to mark up, drop it in the comment section and I'll start there. If not, we'll just start. All right, I have everything. All right, anybody got a certain pair they want me to do first? How do you start trading? You find a mentor and you learn. Before you start trading, you learn. I've started my beginner course. The videos are on YouTube. Just start watching. And then I'm here every day live in the evening. All right. We'll start with the dollar first. I'm just going to go from top to bottom on my watch list. For our markup. All right, so this is a DXY. This is capital.com. Everything else is Awanda because it's the prices are near to my broker prices, but we'll stick with capital.com for DXY. I am going to start on my monthly time frame. Hold on. I need to see what you guys see. Because for some reason, here on TikTok, y'all can't see my whole chart. Uh-oh. Out. Okay. Bring it over. All right, let's delete all of this. How y'all doing? All right, let's get started with DXY. I think y'all can see it. Yes. All right, so I like to start on my monthly time frame, do a top-down analysis. Okay, so top-down analysis is me moving from the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, and then to the 1 hour to get my overall bias for the week, All right, so I like to start looking for my structure points, and I am going to use my path tool. And as we can see, the dollar was all the way down here. This is one move right here. Okay, here, this is our new high. This is a pullback. This is our new high. And now we're currently on a pullback on the dollar. We've traded through this fair value gap here, and price seems to be going lower. But now the question is, what is happening now? I don't see any fair value gaps right here within this bullish rally, but I do see an inversion fair value gap right here that it looks like price is nearing. Oh, yes, I do. I see one. I see a fair value gap here. Okay, so this is a price balance range. I'm going to zoom in. I have an inversion fair value gap right here. And then I have a bullish fair value gap right here that price did tap into. But it looks like price is coming back to this area. So I'm going to mark this inversion up. Okay. And as you can see, price rejected the inversion here. And then we got a break and a retest here for price to go higher. And then if I extend it over to the left, not the right, the left, you can see that price hesitated in this area several times. So this looks like a zone that price is coming back to. So I'm going to replace this rectangle with just a regular horizontal line right on top of that blue line there. Alrighty. And then I am going to mark this area here, this fair value gap here, just because it was the last area that price traded through. And then as you can see, when I extended it, price respects this area. Okay. So I am boxing in price. Okay. All right. Now we can come down to our weekly. And here on the weekly, we see clearly again that price rejected, rejected, rejected. Now it's finally trading through. It retested it, and now it's trying to trade lower. We know that it's trying to come to this area here because this was our next significant zone. I'm just scrolling over here to look to see if I see anything else within this area. I don't see anything significant. I see that we have some like rejection here, 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 and here. And I'm looking for the fair value gap to mark this up. Okay, I see it right here. All right, so I'm going to mark this area here. All right, and as you can see, when I found that fair value gap, even when I come over to the left, we have some hesitation in this area when price gets to this area, okay? So now, this is currently where price is. I'm going to replace that box with another horizontal line. So price is currently at a zone, okay? It traded through it last week. This was our week before last. The week before last, it gave us a bearish engulfing. Okay, we've been talking about our candlestick patterns. Is 150 worth of XRP a good play? I'm not sure. I don't trade XRP. I hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we're talking about our candlestick patterns, and last week or the week before last, because this was last week's candle, The week before last, price gave us a bearish engulfing candle, okay? And then price sold down underneath this zone, and it tried to come a little further down, and then the bulls pushed in and price closed up here. So now let's come down to our daily time frame and see what our daily is telling us. Okay, so on our daily, we got a break and a retest. Okay, so we know that price is trying to push further down here to our next zone. We don't have anything else that we need to add here on this daily. So now I'm going to come down to the 4-hour. Now, in my 4-hour, I can draw a trend line here because I have rejection here and I have rejection here. Okay. Now we already got a break and a retest on our zone. I do see another fair value gap right here that price is playing in. And now we want to see a break and retest of our trend line. So I am going to put this fair value gap here. Okay, and as you can see, price respected it on this side. And now we have some consolidation. So what I've learned with fair value gaps, when you come to a fair value gap, price is either going to do three things. It's going to reject it, just like a zone, right? Just like support and resistance, supply and demand. It's either going to reject it like we did here, okay? It's going to trade through it and then retest it like it did here, or it's going to consolidate. And right now it's consolidating. It's been consolidating since market open. All right, so I do want to see the dollar sell this week because I am looking for GU to buy, and this is lining up with my analysis. And I don't think I have anything else that I need to add to my chart. Okay. So this area here is a pretty big zone, and I do see a fair value gap here, so I am going to add that just for extra precaution. And then I'm going to come over to see if there's another zone in between this one. Just because I don't want to be surprised when price gets to another area and it slows down. Okay. So just looking within this area here, I see all of this rejection within this area. Rejection, rejection, rejection. So that tells me that I have another zone here. And now I see this fair value gap right here. So I'm going to mark this fair value gap. And just like that, we have our zone. Okay. All right, so I'm going back to current price. And this is what I have on the dollar. And that's about all that I see that we have to mark up on the dollar. We're looking for sales because price is still in a downtrend. No structure was broken. Okay. No structure was broken. All right, so price is still in a downtrend. All of this is one push. All right, so now we have our daily, our markup for our dollar. I'm going to go to GU now, and we'll mark up the USD pairs. Go to GU, start on my monthly time frame. Okay. And GU looks like it's in a downtrend, right? On our monthly. Okay. So I am going to mark off my last, this fair value gap right here that led to my last low. I don't think that's precise. I'm going to delete it. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have entered the zone, right? I was looking for a buy because I want to see price come back to 50% of this fair value gap. It's touched it once, it's touched it twice, right? And now it looks like it's coming to touch it again. So that is my target area for my GU buy. And now I'm going to come down to my weekly and let's see what's going on my weekly. I'm actually going to replace this zone with a horizontal line back to 50%. And then I'm going to delete this area. Okay. Now on my weekly, I want to see what's going on here. So the same thing with the dollar. The week before last, the dollar had a bearish engulfing candle and GU has a bullish engulfing candle right here. This black one right here completely engulfed that one. So when we see engulfing candles, I like to see price come back into 50% of that candle, which it did. Okay, which is where I got my entry. I'm holding this buy. And then on the daily, there's also a fair value gap right there. But I also have, there's a zone here somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. So you see we got rejection here within this area. And I have a fair value gap right here. All right. And then if I come over to current price, you can see right here at this zone, price gave us this bullish engulfing, price closed on top. And then if we go to a lower time frame, we got a retest of this zone. Okay. So now I'm going to come down to my daily time frame. And as you can see on the daily, we got a break and a retest. Now I'm looking for a continuation. Price also came into this fair value gap here. I want to look within this zone. I'm actually going to measure from 50% of this fair value gap to this, what was this, a monthly zone? It's 270 pips. I'm going to go back to my weekly and I'm just going to measure an average weekly candle just to see how much GU moves on a weekly average. So I'm just going to do this little doji right here. And this doji ran 220 pips, okay? So this is a realistic zone here for GU. It's 270 pips. I don't have anything else on my weekly. I do have a balanced price range here. A balanced price range is when you have a fair value gap and an inversion. So I am going to mark this area also. Okay. And then I want to mark something, an area below, just in case price doesn't hold its buys. And I'm going to mark this last fair value gap here that price came from. Okay, and as you can see, price respected it and respected it. We got rejection, and then price broke through it, retested it, continued higher, which is what we want to see again this week. When price broke through, retested this zone, continued higher. All right, now I'm going to come down to my 4-hour time frame. Okay. And things are getting clearer and clearer as we go down. As you can see, price has been trading sideways since Wednesday. The market kind of slowed down. We caught this sell back to this zone last week because I was looking for that retest. But I did have a zone up here somewhere. So now I want to go over within this zone here and find that other zone that price rejected from right there. And if you look down here, we haven't been in this area since 2022. If you look all the way at the bottom, it says currently I'm on Friday, now Sunday, June 19th, 2022. So it's been a long time since GU the price has been this high, okay? So now within this blue line here and this black line, I was looking for the zone that price rejected last week. And I see a fair value gap right here. So I'm going to mark this fair value gap. Okay. And instantly, once I marked it, you can see that price respected it. We got rejection here. We got rejection here, 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 right? Now I am just going to mark the blue line and take away my rectangle on this one. And then I'm going to go back to current price. All right. And right on the head. This was our area that was that gave us our rejection for our sell last week. Now, here, just like I did on the dollar, I can mark a trend line because I have a rejection point here and a rejection point here. So in order to have a valid trend line, you just need 2 points of rejection. And as you can see, every time price hit this trend line, it's trying to push up. So it's trying to buy. Okay. And then another reason why I was looking for a sell last week, besides the break and retest, the week before, because this was last week's move, this was the week before. The week before, we got this big bullish impulse move, and I was looking for the correction. So I like to look at the market in impulse, correction, continuation. So this is our impulse, this is our correction, and now I'm looking for continuation up here to this area. Okay, so now I just want to put my fib on here. Actually, I want to come down to the 1 hour before we put our fib on. Let's come down to the 1 hour. Okay. And this is what we have. Now I can place my fib. Okay. I'm going to put my fib here, started on the low. That started my impulse. And then the 0 right here at the top, that started my correction. Price came back to the 50%. So I'm looking for price to head to the -27 for my TP. So I'm going to zoom out so that I can see my full fib. And right on the head, the -27 is near that zone. Okay. So I've already bought GU. I've been in this since last week. All right. I entered here. TP is here. Stop loss is below this low right here. You can find this hourly candle here and set your stop loss, and you can enter here. Okay. So I am looking for buys this week on GU. We're getting some kind of consolidation. And what I was taught, when you get consolidation at a zone, it just means that price is going to reverse. Okay. So this is what we have on GU. And I'm going to drop this in my Discord. because we're going to need this chart. As you can see, this is what I have for last week also. Let's go over here. I'm going to screenshot my chart. All right. Now, with GU, as we can see, we have a zone here. And then on this 4 hour, let me delete this real quick. We have a zone here. And on this 4 hour, there's a fair value gap in the middle of this zone. Okay. If you want to, you can just take it from here to here, right? That's still a good 77 pips, right? And then let price break and retest this area, and then you can get back in the buy and then take it up to here, okay? All right, I'm just putting my tool back on there. Now we can go to, I'll save SPX and NAS for last. Do that, and that. Okay. Next on the list is gold. Gold. Well, we're on gold now. Hello, take profit. All right, I'm going to remove all of my drawings, and we are going to start on our monthly. Okay. And as you can see on our monthly, price is just heading up. Okay. Let me pull it over here so y'all can see it. If I zoom in and we look at this chart, price is just heading up. Okay. Gold is like indices. It just continues to make higher highs and higher highs and higher highs. Okay. So there's nothing on my monthly that I need to mark. So I'm going to come down to my weekly. Okay. Now, here on my weekly, I'm going to mark the last high and this last higher low, just the box price in. Okay. So my last high and my last higher low. All right. Now, boxing price in, and we are on the weekly chart. Price has been within this area for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, going on 12 weeks now. Price has been in this area. All right, so now I'm going to come down to my daily, and this is what I have on my daily. I have a fair value gap here, right, that price rejected once and twice. So I am going to mark that area up. Here. All right, and as we can see, it rejected it here all the way through on that blue line right there. Okay. And I also want to mark up this fair value gap right here. Just to box price in even more. Okay. Let me make sure that's accurate. Here to here. All right. And as you can see, the week before last, price rejected that area, right? So it looks like price traded through, came down to this area, came back and retested it, and it looks like it's trying to go lower. But let's come down to our 4 hour. Actually, before we come to our 4 hour, I could draw a trend line. I have rejection here and rejection here. So I'm going to draw this trend line. Okay. Now I am going to come down to my 4 hour. And now we can see it even clearer on our 4 hour, right? If I take my path tool, price traded down, came back, retested our zone, and then gave us this really big impulsive bearish candle here. And it looks like it's trying to come back down to our zone. Okay. But within there, within this zone, I see I see hesitation here, here, all up in this area where it gave us this sideways movement until price finally shot out of it. And then again here, we got all these kind of wicks. So I do see this fair value gap here. I am going to mark up this fair value gap. All right, and now you see that, mark that fair value gap up, how price has respected this area. So now we are currently at this area again. Okay. So this is going to be another one of those ones where I want to wait for price to close underneath my 50%. So I'm going to change this from a zone to just a straight up horizontal line. I'm going to delete that area. Okay. And now since I am at a zone, I want to patiently wait to let price tell me if price is going to buy or sell from this zone. Just because I'm getting bearish candles right now doesn't exactly mean that price is going to sell, okay? Because a lot of times when you don't wait on these candles to close, right, price can trade through and then come back up and then close on top of the zone, okay? Just like here, price traded underneath, it closed underneath, and then it came back on top of the zone. It came back into this fair value gap, granted. So let's see. Did we get a 50% hit on this gap? We did. Okay. I'm not going to keep this one, though. Yes, I am, because I got some rejection. So I am going to keep that. I'm going to keep it. It looks valid. And then with gold, you don't need big zones. A little movement on gold goes a long way. Okay. So in between this zone and this zone, I see another fair value gap here. All right, and I'm going to keep it. And I keep my zones depending on how price reacts to the area, okay? Just like support and resistance, where you're looking for 2, 3 rejections, I'm looking for a couple of rejections from that area. So we got rejection. We got all this wicks right here where price just constantly tried to test this area, okay? So this would be my next take profit area. Now I'm going to come down to my 1 hour and let's see what's going on. Okay, so as you can see, at first I wasn't going to mark this zone, but you see how price consolidated here within this zone and it consolidated over here. Okay, a lot of the times price just repeats itself. Okay, so if it's doing it on the left, it's going to do it on the right. Okay, so here, yeah, price is dropping. Let's pull up our indicator, see if we can get something on gold. What do we have? 26 minutes left into this hourly candle close. I'm going to come down to my 30-minute. Come down to 15. Okay, so the indicator that I use the RSI and the MACD. This one by Indian INDYN. I don't, what did it just do? I don't change any of the settings, okay? Gold is freaking melting. We got 10 minutes. Okay, so since we're on this zone, let's come down to the 5 minute. Oh, we got a nice little break and retest here on the 5 minute. Okay. So price is pulling back. We got a break and retest. And then we got an inside bar candle here. We talked about those. And with the inside bar candle, this is the mother, this is the baby candle. So price is coming to our entry on this inside bar candle. And I'm about to short go real quick. Stop loss right here above this, the mother candle inside bar on this 5 minute. The only thing right now, I am going to wait because my indicator is telling me that gold is trying to pull back some. Let's see where we are on the 15 and the hourly. Okay. See a fair value gap here. I'm gonna take it back to this low here. What am I in? I'm in GU buys, and I am looking at a gold short setup. Gonna wait just 1 second. Kind of want to wait because it is Sunday, but sometimes Sundays have some good setups. And then I also kind of want to wait because looking at my RSI, especially on the hour, if you look down here at the bottom, price is oversold. It's down here in this white area. When it's down here in this white area, I'm going to look for buys. As you can see, I kind of got a little W pattern here, and then price bought. Okay. So I kind of need for price to come back up some before I sell this. And I'm okay with missing a trade. I am okay with missing a trade, especially since I'm in GU buys. But let's see. Okay. Well, price is definitely moving. I just don't like the fact that the RSI is so low. It's even low on the 4 hour. Where's it at on the daily? On the daily, we have more room to fall. Our 4 hour, we have a little bit more room to fall, and it gave us a little bit of a, like a little Quasimodo double top here. It's falling though, and I definitely missed that entry. I'm gonna leave it be, and I'm gonna test it. If you want to sell it, you can sell it, but I'm gonna leave it be. I'd wait till price retest the imbalance of market opening, then take shorts. I don't see a market open gap. I don't have a market open gap on this one. I'm gonna leave it be though, just because it's so low on my RSI. Now, price does sell down to here, which is, it's moving. It's definitely moving. Price sells down to here. Then when price gets to this zone, we'll see what happens. Okay, but I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to let price do what it's going to do. Okay, and I'll catch the next one. But this is what we have now for gold. These are my zones. Looks like price is going to try to come back down to this trend line. Price comes back to this trend line, definitely buy. Okay. See the trend line? We got 1, 2 rejections. Price falls down here to this trend line, definitely buy. But for now, I'm going to leave it be. If you got in, good for you. Trail your stop loss, okay? But this is a minor structure trade. We got a minor structure break and retest here. And we got an inside bar. And then we got a nice bearish candle to follow. All right, that's gold. I'm going to come to EU. All right, completely delete my chart. We're going to start up here on the monthly. EU kind of looks like GU, right? Kind of looks like GU. It's coming back up to that same area. Have that same fair value gap right here. Okay, so looking for price to push its way back up here. All right, so now I'm going to come down to my weekly. Let's see. Here on my weekly, I see a price balance range right here. Okay, so it hit it right on the head with our price balance range. If I come over so y'all can see it full, this is current price right here, and current price traded up to this area, and then it kind of rejected, right? So if I come down to the daily, you'll see price traded up to this area. We got a little pullback, and now it looks like it's trying to break this area. We're 52 pips from that zone. Let's see. I want to zoom out just because I wanted to find another zone. We got rejection and some rejection up within this area. So I wanted to see if price decides to sell, where is it going to sell to? Okay, and right off the bat, I see this fair value gap right here. Okay, now I'm just going to come back to current price. And that fair value gap that we marked up was our last pullback area. Okay, so this is our impulse. We didn't get any type of retest on this zone. Now I'm going to come to the 4 hour. Well, before I come to the 4 hour, I want to measure this zone, this one to here, and want to see how many pips that is. All right, so it's 396 pips. So there has to be another zone in between these two. So now I'm just going to go back over to the left. And clear as day, I see this fair value gap right here. I see this one here. I see this one here. Now, it looks like both of them have some rejection points, right? If you follow my dotted line, we got rejection here. And if I come over here, we got rejection here. So I would rather mark up both of them and then just let price show me what it's going to do when it gets there. Okay. All right, so this is all the zones that I'm going to use. This is where price is currently at, this little dotted line here. Going to go back to current price. Now I'm going to come down to my 4-hour. Okay. And again, on our 4-hour, we can see that this was our last zone right here, right? We got some rejection, then we got another rejection, and then we got our impulsive push up, okay, up to this zone. And on this zone, price left us a fair value gap, a nice fair value gap for price to come back to. So is price going to come back here this week? Don't know. I'm going to remark this. I'm actually just going to delete that black line and then use this zone right here. Okay. And then also I have another fair value gap here. So I am going to mark this area. Okay. Because this is where price is currently at. Now we got this same impulsive move like GU did the week before last, right? So let's come down to the 1 hour and let's see what our fib is saying, okay? So this was the start of the impulsive move. Then we got a little bit of hesitation here. So I'm going to start my fib from here and I'm going to pull it to here. I want to see what it's telling me. So I'm going to put my fib here and then I'm going to come to this little high right here and price pull back to the 23.6. When price pulls back to the 23.6 on the fib, that's letting me know that price isn't done with this impulsive move. It still has continuation. Uh-oh. Let me lock that. All right. So that's exactly what it did. It's continued higher. So now I'm going to move my 0 up here to my next pullback area. And it did the same thing. It came 23.6, which just lets me know that price is going to continue. So now I'm going to continue to move this higher because we need some type of retracement in order for me to get in. And yet again, this is still telling me 23.6. We don't have any type of retracement. Although GU gave us a 50% retracement, EU has not given us any type of retracement yet. Okay, so technically, this impulsive move here is just all one move. Just one big bullish move right here. Okay. Although we did get here, we didn't get a break and retest here, right? We got some type of rejection. Price pulled back a little bit. Then it broke again, gave us a retest. So with me looking for the dollar to sell, I'm still looking for GU to buy. And although we didn't get any type of correction on EU, 23.6 still tells us that it's still buying, okay? I want to measure this zone here. It's 128 pips, which is realistic for EU. This section is 87. So I kind of want to break this one down, this zone, and see if there's anything in the middle. So I'm just going to go back to the left. Look at last price action. It's been a long time since price has been over here. We're already in 2023. And looks like we need to come up to our 4 hours. So let's do that. Let's go up to the 4 hour. That's price not. Okay, finally, we found it. Price has not been up in this area since 2021. EU has not been this high since 2021. Okay. What area was I looking at? We have this one. I was looking at this one. Wanted to find another zone, and I see a fair value gap right here. And perfectly, we have our zone. Rejection, rejection. Oop. Rejection, rejection, rejection. rejection. Now let's come over to current price. Okay. So this is where I would look to take my TP. Okay. So I am not in EU. Let's come down to the 1 hour. Let's see what's going on. I'm not in EU, but where can we get in EU at? I see rejection here and I see rejection here. So I'm going to mark this trend line. EU, I think I'm going to wait on a break and retest of this trend line, okay, to get in this. So what I want to see, price break this trend line. I need price to form some type of fair value gap near this trend line to pull back into, and then I'll take it up to here, okay? It's still a good 100 pips, which is a realistic trade for EU. Okay, so I'm going to set an alert on my trend line for price to cross up. And that's what I have for EU. Now we can come to GJ. GJ, I am in buys on GJ. I got in this buy down here last week, and I got out here at this fair value gap, right? And remember, I look at the market as impulse, correction, continuation. So now I'm trying to catch the continuation. So let's just come to the monthly though and just verify that price is going to try to continue, right? Okay. So currently at GJ, we have this fair value gap right here. It looks like where price is at on our monthly. 2AT, right? We have this rejection point, and then price is decided to move sideways for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months we've been in this area, right? Now what I do see here, I see rejection and rejection, so I can draw a trend line here on this monthly. Okay. And then I have rejection here and rejection here. So I can put this in a wedge. Okay. So this is what I have on my monthly. I'm going to change this from a zone to a solid line. Just here. All right. And now I'm going to come down to the weekly. This is what we have on the weekly. Consolidation. Okay. I see a fair value gap here and I see a fair value gap here. I'm going to mark both of them. Here and here. Okay. I'm going to change that from that to just a line. Okay. So as we see now, price is in this wedge. Okay. Price played around on this fair value gap here at this black line. You see how it just can't seem to get away from it. Now we finally got this nice impulsive move, this nice bullish impulsive move right here. But now it looks like I'm going to redo that trend line. Here to here. Okay, now it looks like it's trying to reject this trend line and possibly make its way back down here for a retest, right? But let's come down to our daily. Let's see what else is going on. Okay. Now here on my daily, I have another fair value gap here. right? I have another fair value gap there. And I also have a trend line here. We have a nice trend line. Price was making higher highs and higher lows right here. So we got this here, 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 here. Okay. So I'm going to draw a trend line here. My screen is blurry. It's your phone. Because I'm looking at it on my phone. It's not blurry. All right, here we go. Now we have rejection here. We have rejection here. We have rejection here. Okay. Within this area, I see another fair value gap right here that sent price higher. Okay. So I am going to mark this area here. And this is how we box in price. We're on GJ. Okay. So now currently we got this break. We got this retest. And we want to see a continuation, but we have this trend line here. So now we want to see what price is going to do. Now, let's come down to our 4 hour. Okay. And this is current price here on the 4 hour. Okay, so again, impulse, correction, continuation. Price is currently at this fair value gap here. Now my thing for the buy, because I am in a buy, I'm going to pull it at this trend line. I don't want to assume that price is going to break the trend line and come up here to this next zone. Okay. So I want to see price come back here. Okay. And then once price gets here, we'll let price tell us if it's going to reject and sell back down, or if it's going to break it, retest it, and go higher. Okay. At this point, looking at how it looks on our monthly, if we go back to our monthly, right, and zoom back in, you see how price is just staying in this area. And then we are getting some type of bullish impulse over here, but I don't want to assume because it's been consolidating in this area for such a long time. Okay. I am going to mark this fair value gap here. Right here, the one that price rejected from last week. Okay, and I'm just gonna take my TP. I'd rather be accurate at my TP hits, right? So I'm just gonna set my TP here at 50%. It's 89 pips. It's a good trade. So I got into this trade last week. I've been holding it. So this is what I'm looking for here on GJ. Okay. And then we caught this trade to here last week. And I do have a free student Discord. And just to show you, even in the free student Discord, okay, I sold them by GJ. We're up 200 and something pips. And then I also caught it in my signals group. Now, what I was looking at, again, like I said, impulse, correction, continuation. What I was looking at, let's get this off of here. This was my impulse move, right? This was my correction. And now I do still want to see the continuation, but again, I don't want to assume that it's going to break out of this zone, especially for being in this area for so long, okay? So we'll just take it step by step. So the next step is back up to the current high, okay? And again, if my stop loss hits, okay, if my stop loss hits, we're back at this fair value gap here, this 50%. Then what you'll want to see is price come underneath, retest it, give you some type of price action signal at this zone, and then you can take it back down to this zone, okay? But for now, I see it being bullish. But we'll see what happens, okay? It's just trading is a probabilities game. If you lose, get back in. But get back in with proper confluences, okay? All right, so that's what we have for GJ. Let's come over to Euro JPY. We'll come back up to our monthly. Now, EJ has broken all-time highs. GJ is trying to make its way up there, right? It's so far from all-time highs, it's crazy. But EJ has broken all-time highs. NAS, SPX has broken all-time highs also. What do we want to see happen on EJ? Right now, I'm not sure. So I am going to mark my last high because that's a significant area in price, okay? And that's currently where price is at. And then I'm going to mark my new high up here. And then I see a fair value gap right here. So I'm going to mark up that fair value gap. Okay. So we got this really nice impulsive move last month. Today is July 6th, so we're only 6 days into the new month. And what I think I might want to see on EJ is a CRT move, okay? So I like to trade the monthly and the weekly CRT moves if I get my confluences. And with the CRT move, you want to see price run the high or the low of last month's or last week's candle. And price has currently ran the high, and this black line right here will represent our high, okay? And then you want to see price come back, close underneath it, retest it, and then come and trade into 50% of last month's candle. So with this one, I am going to mark my 50% just because I want to see if price is going to give me that move. Okay. So I'm going to move this black line here up to 50% because this is an area that I want to see price hit. Now I'm going to come down to my weekly. Okay. And here on my weekly, I see a gap here and I see a gap here. We got some type of rejection here, so I definitely need to mark this area up. Okay. So I'm not sure if I want to use this one or if I want to use this one. Okay, so I'm going to use this one because price respected it here also. So I'm going to use this zone. And then delete these. Okay, so you see how price pushed up and then it came back, retested this area, and then pushed up a little bit higher. Now I'm going to also mark up this gap here. Let me make sure it's closed right. Here to here. Okay. And all I'm doing when I'm marking up these gaps, same thing that you do with support and resistance, right? You're just looking for zones and pockets in the market to be able to trade in. Hey, Val. Okay. So now let's come down to our daily time frame and let's see what our daily is telling us. Again, we got this big impulsive move. Price came back, retested this area. It traded higher, came back, retested it again, and then it pushed through our zone. Now we're getting a small little retest here. Let's come down to the 4-hour. Okay, and we see it a little bit clearer on the 4-hour. We got a break and a retest inside of a 4-hour fair value gap. And we also have a morning star candlestick pattern here. This is a bullish candle. I'm sorry, bearish candle, doji, bullish candle. So, is price going to continue is the question. I want to measure from here to here just to see about this zone. 176 pips. Hey, Chev, 176 pips on EJ is doable, but I also want to see if there's any type of hesitation within this area. And automatically, you can see right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of rejection, right? So I kind of want to zoom in. And I want to find another fair value gap. Where was I? Up here. Wait a minute. Okay, here. Let's see. See a gap here, but let's see if this is the area. It works, right? But what was stopping this right here? So let's see. I see a baby gap here. I think I am going to go with this baby gap. I kind of want to measure between here and here. It's 57 pips. I think I'm going to keep both of these. Because a 50 pip trade isn't a bad trade, right? Although I prefer 100 pips, 50 pips isn't bad either. Okay, so I'm going to keep that zone. Now I'm going to just come back to current price. Okay, so now I'm going to come down to the hourly. And the same thing that we see on GJ. Okay, we got that nice impulsive candle that left this fair value gap. We got it impulse correction. Now I want to see a continuation. Now on my 4-hour, I had a hold on, guys. On my 4-hour, there was a morning star candlestick pattern. And here on the 1-hour, I see another morning star plus a fair value gap. So right here, I have my bearish candle, my doji, my bullish candle, and then price left me with a fair value gap. So this is where I want to either buy or sell from, right? With price being extremely bullish, right? And price already hit all-time highs. I'm not sure if price is just going to continue buying. But what I am sure of is from this fair value gap, I want price to tell me where it's going to go. Okay. So from this fair value gap, I'm either going to get some rejection so that I can take it back to this high or even into the next zone, or price is going to come underneath, retest it, and then I can take it back down here to this low. Okay? So this is my significant area that I'm looking for here on the 4-hour. Now, I kind of want to, let's measure this zone. This is 147 pips. I'm going to break this zone up just because I see all of this hesitation here, 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 right? It looks like something needs to be here. And I do see this fair value gap right here. And just like that, that zone looks a lot better. Because one thing I don't ever want to do is have a zone and just assume that it's going to break all of this when you see all this hesitation here. And I just assume. I would rather just take it to here, right? And that's still a nice 85 pips, okay? So I use this fair value gap here on the hourly. And as you can see, we got our break and retest, which took us up to that next zone there. So EJ is one of these ones that I am definitely going to have to wait to see what price is going to do. Tomorrow is Monday, so kind of just let Monday play out. I will be here on Monday evening. We'll be starting our chart pattern book, and then I do daily analysis every day. Okay, so we'll just let EJ play out and see what happens tomorrow. All right, let's go to UJ. Let's delete this markup. I kind of want to go back to gold and see what happened. Gold is dropping. We don't want to have FOMO. No FOMO, no FOMO. But gold is dropping. Do I trade futures? I trade NAS and SPX on the future side. I traded on the futures and the Forex side though. And gold too. Gold is dropping. So I don't know if you guys have been here for our candlestick Bible book. We just finished it the other day, but our last candlestick pattern that we talked about was the inside bar and how to trade the inside bar. And this was an inside bar trade right here. So this was our rejection candle here. And then this was our inside bar because price did not run the high or the low of that previous candle. And so since this is the bigger candle, this is the baby candle, the entry is at the low of the mother candle and the stop loss is at the high of the mother candle. And it seems to be playing out. This is a zone here. Let's do that. Oh yeah, price came to that zone. That was TP. And I told y'all that was a minor structure trade. And it just played out nicely. Okay, let's keep going. UJ. Let's go to our monthly on UJ and see what is going on. If we zoom out on UJ, price gave us all-time highs July 2024. So last year we got this high, and price has just been trading in this area ever since. Okay, from zoom back, right, July, and then we got this little pullback. Price pushed up. Now it's back at this pullback. Price is back at this area right here. We have a balanced price range. We have an inversion and a fair value gap. So that's what price is reacting to right here. To a T. 1, 2, 3 rejections. Okay. So let's zoom in some more. Price has been debating if it wants to buy or sell, right? We're getting dojis over here. We're not getting any full candlestick bars, right? Price was pushing up, pushing down, pushing up, pushing down. We're only 7 days into this new candle, or 6 days into this new candle, so not exactly sure what it's going to do. I can draw a trend line here. I have rejection here and rejection here. So again, we only need 2 points to make 2 points of rejection for a trend line, which puts this in a wedge, okay? Almost like a flag pattern. This, and then here is our little flag. Now with a flag pattern, it's supposed to be a bullish pattern, okay? But we don't know how long it can trade inside of this wedge before breaking out. And especially with everything that's going on with our economy right now, we have no idea. Well, thank you, Luke Ross. Okay, so now we can come down to our weekly. Oh, and look at this. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I'm just going to zoom in right here. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this is our new week. 13 weeks. Price has been right here in this area. Okay. I do see a fair value gap right here, so I am going to mark that. And it's like price can't break it. You see that? It can't break it. Which is why we're getting this little movement here. It's trying to break this area, and somewhat not sure if it wants to break this area either. Doesn't know what it wants to do. Okay. So this is what we need from the weekly. Now I'm going to come down to the daily. Okay. And this is really the only area that I need to worry about because price isn't getting away from this area right now. I see a fair value gap here, right? Which is what's giving me all this wick rejection here. So let's mark that up. Okay. So I thought it's what gives me all that wick rejection. We got 1 touch and 2 touch, but this is rejecting something else. So I see another fair value gap here. Okay. So I'd rather use this one over this one just because it's a little closer to where we are in price. Current price is right here. Okay. Now, what else is going on? I see another fair value gap here. Let's see what that looks like. Ugly. Ugly, but necessary, right? Because now I know that price is trying to break this area here. This is our most important zone because price is currently on this zone. This is our current price candle right here. Price is currently on this zone. If I zoom in, so y'all can see it a little bit better. See that? So the week before last, we got this nice big bullish candle, right? Price broke the zone here. So it came from here, came here, retested. And remember, when we get a retest, it's supposed to be continuing, right? Impulse, correction, continuation. Well, it seems to be hesitating. It's not giving us any continuation. So let's go down to our 4-hour. And let's see what else is going on. Okay. My 4-hour gave me this nice impulsive candle here. We got this impulsive candle last week on a lot of pairs. And again, from this zone here, I want price to tell me what it's going to do. So I'm going to mark this fair value gap here. Okay. And I'm going to take away the background, but I'm going to leave this as a blue line. I'm going to lock that. Now, this is my most important zone on my 4 hour, this fair value gap right here. Same thing as EJ. Same thing as EJ. I'm going to mark another zone in between here though, because from this black line to here is 260 pips. This line to here. And 260 pips might be too much. And I do see some rejection up in this area here. Okay. So I'm going to use this fair value gap right here just to cut that in half. And as you can see, price respected that area. All right, and then I want to measure this one below. It's 138 pips. That's real realistic on UJ, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, so now from this 4 hour fair value gap, we just got to let price tell us what it's going to do. And this is where you'll be going down to the 15 to 30 minute to hourly, okay? Don't go below the 15 minute if you're not experienced. You're going to take this same zone, and on that lower time frame, you just want to see price break it, retest it, reject from the retest, and then take it back down to this last low, okay? Or you want to see price reject from this area and then take it back up to this area right here. There's a fair value gap right here on this area. That's perfect area, okay? So that's what you're going to look for on UJ. I think I'll be live tomorrow during, not I think, I am going to get up, you guys. I'm going to get up. I'll be here at, let's say, market New York session opens at 9:30. I'm going to get up at 6. I'll be here at 8 Central Standard Time. That's 9 Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see what we can catch, especially on UJ. It looks like it's setting up for something nice. Okay. So we're going to catch one of these together. And also, just click the link in my bio. I do send out free trades in the free Discord, okay? So that's all we have for UJ. I'm not going to mark anything else up. Again, come down to the 15 minute. Let's put our indicator on here. Let's see what our indicator is telling us. Okay, so here, this is what I was saying about gold. You see how, what time market closed? So today, Sunday, the market just opened. Market closes Friday at 5 p.m. It's open 24, what is it, 5, Sunday, Monday, or 24/6. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Closes Friday at 5, opens Sunday at 5. Okay? It just slows down during Asia session. So it closes for like a break on Monday at 5 p.m., but it doesn't technically close. It just slows down and then the spread widens. Okay? And then 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the spread closes back up. Asia session starts, which is when the Asian banks open, and then they run the market. And then Asia banks close at whatever time they close. Then London session opens at 3 a.m. and then London runs the market. And then New York session banks open at 9:30 a.m. and then New York and London, they kind of overlap and they're both running the market at the same time, okay? Okay, so that's what we have on UJ. Oh, this is what I'm saying about the indicator. So you see how price is really low on this indicator? I use this oversold, overbought, and then I do trade M's and W's, but only down here on the indicator, okay? I don't trade M's and W's. We're not in a buy or a sell right now. We're trying to wait to let price show us what it's going to do. I trade M's and W's down here on the bottom, okay? So we're getting some type of sharp turn here, and we got like a double bottom here. We got one here and one here. If price closes on top of here, and to be honest, let's see. There's a fair value gap right here. Right here. You see how we got all this rejection right here? I would sacrifice these pips just to get a better trade. It's a 13 pip trade, right? So if tonight you see that price comes on top of this fair value gap, retest it, get in for this freaking buy. Okay? Take it back up there. 80 pips. Okay? And then down here, of course, this is 50% of our fair value gap. Same thing to the downside. Back to our zone. Right here. Okay? So, let me see. I think I'm going to set an alert. Not I think. Because I am looking for the dollar to sell. So if the dollar sells, UJ sells, okay? And UJ sells because if you look up here in the corner, right, it says US dollar, Japanese yen. So the dollar runs this pair. So if the dollar buys, then UJ buys. If the dollar sells, then UJ sells, okay? But I'm looking for the dollar to sell because I'm looking for GU to buy. But this is where we don't assume, right? We'll wait and let price tell us what it's going to do. Why trade Asia session? Nobody's trading Asia session, sir. And sometimes you can't. You know what? My pet peeve is people coming on here talking about Asia session. If you back test, you actually can see that some pairs do well during Asia session. Please leave me alone. I hate that. But this is Sunday. We're marking up. And another thing I hate, don't come in here, you don't even know what we're doing, and then you get in the chat just talking. You don't even know what we're doing. Say, hey, how you doing first? What you guys up to? We're marking up our charts. It's Sunday. All right, my rant is over. Let's go to USD CAD. We're on our monthly chart. All right. And if you just look right here on our monthly chart, you can easily see rejection, rejection, rejection. This is currently where price came from. And we have a fair value gap right here. Y'all probably can't see that fair value gap because I don't care what you're saying. Goodbye. Have a good day. I just don't have time. All right. Fair value gap right here. Y'all probably can't see it because I have it all scrunched up. But you can definitely see how price rejected this area once, rejected this area twice, rejected this area for a third time, and price is currently right here, okay? So I am going to mark up this fair value gap here. All right, and to the T, you see that? Now I want to zoom out and get a little bit closer to price. And I want to see what is going on. Okay, so now when I zoom out, I see a fair value gap right here. So I want to mark this current fair value gap. I want to extend it left. And as you can see, when I extended it left, we got some rejection here. And then all up and through here, price has been hesitating, trying to break through. It finally gave us our break. And it looked like it came back for a retest, but it didn't hold. Right? Remember? Impulse, correction, continuation. Well, it doesn't look like it's continuing. Price broke underneath the zone. So I'm going to replace this with this. Okay. Now let's see if I can find another area that price is going to come to. And I see another fair value gap right here. Yep. Hey, Muffin. I actually do it here on TikTok. So just turn the notification bell on. I'm here every day. I am here every day. So we just finished the candlestick chart Bible, learning the candlestick pairs. Like this one right here is a morning star. We just finished that. That's on YouTube. And then tomorrow we will start our chart pattern book. And then after the chart pattern book, then we'll go into our zones and all that other type of stuff. So I do it here for free, or if you just want to pay me, there's a link in my bio for one-on-one. Okay. All right. So here's my next gap, and this is my next zone, right? So it's looking like price is trying to do what it did over here. It's just going to come back and consolidate within this area. But this is all I want to mark here on my monthly. Nope, I lied. I see a rejection here and a rejection here. So I want to see where price is at on this trend line also. Okay, so it's near this trend line. Now I want to come down to my weekly. Okay, how do you do it as I'm doing it with me? Pull your computer out. Pull your computer out. We're currently on USD CAD. Wait till I get to the next pair though, because I've already started this one. Pull your computer out and then pull up Trading View. And then I'll let you know as I'm walking it. I tell you, what time frames I'm on, what areas I'm looking at, everything. And you can mark your chart up as I'm marking mine up. Okay. All right. So now within this zone, I see a fair value gap here and I see one here. And as you can see, we got all of this rejection right here. So I do want to, I'm going to use this gap instead of this gap. Okay. And as I marked it up, let me mark this one up so you can kind of see why I used this one over that one. Let me take the background off. Okay. So this blue line right here is this fair value gap. Although we got a little bit of like rejection and hesitation, we got it here and here. If we look at this gap, we got more price respected this area more than it did this one, right? It came from this one and went to that black line, which is why I used this gap over this gap, okay? And then currently price is right on top of this one too. What you doing? What you doing? Okay. Alrighty, so now let's come down to our daily because I don't see anything else that I need to mark here. Well, actually, I am going to tighten up my trend line. So here to here. All right, and now I'm going to come down to my daily. Y'all, Kaya wants to say hi. See if y'all can see her. She's gone now. Okay, so now USD CAD is right on a zone. We love it when price is at a zone because when price is at a zone, this is where we are looking for our entries, okay? So price is either going to buy or it's either going to sell. Again, the USD CAD goes along with the dollar, okay, because US dollar is in the front, right? So it should do what the dollar is doing. So like with GBP, USD, the dollar's in the back, it should do the opposite of what the dollar is doing, okay? So what I want to see is price come underneath here. Oh, what did I grab? Price come underneath here, retest, and then come down to my trend line, okay? Again, I don't want to assume that my trend line is going to break and price is just automatically going to come down here. So we take it zone to zone, okay? And this is still a good 130 pips. We're marking up USD CAD. All right, so currently, this is on our daily, and we have an inside bar here on our daily. Let me zoom in, okay? right here on the zone, we have an inside bar. Uh-oh, what did I do? So this is an inside bar candle. An inside bar candle is a 2 candlestick pattern. Okay. This is the mother. This is the baby. Okay. This candle did not run a high or a low of the previous candle. So the way that you trade this one is you wait for price to get to the top or the bottom of the mother candle. Okay. And basically the same thing, break and retest. Break and retest. Okay. And then stop loss. If you're buying, is at the low of the mother candle. If we're selling, it's at the high of the mother candle. Okay. So now let's go down to the 4-hour. Let's see what's going on in the 4-hour. I'm going to zoom out real quick. We have a nice downtrend here, right? This broke our structure here and gave us our low and our lower high, our lower low, another lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay. Price can pull all the way back to our last lower high point and still be a valid sell trend. Okay. So this is our break of structure area here. We will not look for buys technically until price breaks this area. But again, on that mother candle, if price breaks it and it does give us a buy, then we're buying it back to here. Okay. Which is good 60 pips. But we don't want to assume that price is going to break structure. Okay. So price came into this fair value gap here and it sold. It gave us this nice bearish candle. And again, this isn't an engulfing. It's not a bearish engulfing candle. Okay, let's zoom in. In order for it to be an engulfing candle, it has to run the high and the low of the previous candle. It did not run the high. It just ran the low, and it just gave us a lot of bearish momentum. Okay. Kind of want to zoom over and look into this zone because I have rejection here and rejection here. I want to look over and see if I'm missing a zone up in here. So I can see an area. I see a fair value gap here. I'm going to leave that one. Although it's close, right, to this last area here, it's only 39 pips. I am going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Okay. All right, let's go down to our 1 hour and let's see what it's looking like on our 1 hour. I can draw a trend line here, right? I have rejection, and then a trend line shows a trend, right? So we have a downtrend and it's showing us our downtrend beautifully, okay? So now price is kind of stuck within this wedge, right? Also, if I want to buy, it has to break and retest this, okay? It has to break it, retest it, and then we can take it up to this. There's a fair value gap right here at my last structure point. Again, remember, I don't want to assume that the structure is going to be broken, okay? So if price does go bullish, this is my pocket here. It's nice 45 pips, okay? And then if you look at the trend line, you see the trend, right? So we're in a sell trend. They say the trend is your friend. Now, my only thing, and I'm seeing it now, There's a fair value gap right here, right? Again, impulse, right? Correction. Now we want to see continuation because it is a downtrend. And I see a fair value gap right here. So price is probably going to buy here. What I would rather do is stick to sells than buys until price break structure, okay? And again, this is my last structure point. This area took me to my last low. Now, where did this one? This one came from a 4-hour. Starting to have too many lines right here. I want to erase one of these. I think I'm going to take this one away, this zone, or I'm going to change how it looks. Let's change how it looks because I don't like all of these lines. Let's do this. Here, okay. Here and here. All right, that looks better. That looks better. Let me measure from here to here. It's 98 pips. Okay. So this is another one where right now we already missed this little buy right here. You see price came into this fair value gap and it pushed up away from it. Gave them a nice 49 pips. And now we are moving sideways, okay? So this is our sideways movement right here since market open. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. For the last 4 hours, price hasn't broken out of this area. And if I go down to the 15 minutes, you can see the consolidation a little bit better. You see that? Okay. Looks like price didn't fully hit our trend line. I'm going to double check my trend line just to make sure it's accurate. All right, it's accurate. So this is another reason why I would be careful with buys, right? Because this is what's called inducement. Inducement is when price comes to a zone but doesn't quite touch the zone and then trades away from it. So it acts like it really did what it was supposed to do, but it didn't. So what it was supposed to do was reject from this trend line, but it just rejected before it hit the trend line. Okay. So if we want to buy, right, price came into this fair value gap, ran this liquidity here, definitely need to see it break the trend line, retest the trend line, and I'm not taking it any higher than this fair value gap right here on the hourly. Okay. Once it gets here, I'm going to watch to see what it does. I either want to see it reject from here to go lower, because remember it's in a downtrend, or I want to see it get on top of this zone. I do not want to buy until price gets on top of this zone, which is my last structure area, okay? And then retest, and then I can take it back up to this zone. Okay? But as you can see, clear as day, we're in a sell trend. All right, so that's USD CAD. AU. Ooh, look at AU. Let me check my GU. Let's go back to GU. And let's go back to the dollar. I don't know why AU's reacting like that. It's still underneath this zone. And GU's still within this area. So, okay, we're good. I don't know why AU is pushing down like that. All right, AU, let's come up to our monthly. delete this. Let's zoom out. And let's see what is price trying to tell us. Okay. So AU was in 2020 at darn near all-time lows, right? This was the last low. This is our second low. Up in here, I think I see a fair value gap. I see a fair value gap here, and I see one here. So I'm going to mark this one. Price is almost there. And then I'm going to mark this one also. All right, let's remember it's about boxing price in and getting as close to current price as possible. All right, and then I see rejection and rejection, so I am going to mark this trend line just to see how far we are away from it. Okay. Now I am going to come down to my weekly. And I see this gap here, right here on this line. Do I see anything else up in here? I see one here. All right, that's where current price is at. So I'm gonna leave that one there, just in case price gets on top of it. Then I know where it's going. So here we go. This is why we're getting some rejection on AU, because it's right at a zone. I'm loving that everything is at a zone this week. I am loving that. So that means we should get our trades early on in the week. Okay. Let's see. Here, so now let's go down to our daily. Okay, as you can see, price was consolidating all the way up, came back. Then we got this nice impulsive move. Price just moved up smoothly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And now it's kind of consolidating here, trying to figure out what it wants to do. Let's go down to our 4-hour. And you can see the consolidation clear, right? Price is staying right inside of this box here. Right here. It's not moving higher. It's not moving lower. Okay, that's consolidation. It's just sideways movement right on the zone. I do want to measure this because this is a big zone, especially for AU. AU doesn't move too much. This is 172 pips. Again, we can go back to the weekly and we can just measure a weekly candle like last week. AU only moves 67 pips. Sometimes AU is one of those pairs that I don't really trade because it moves super slow. It moves so slow. And then again, 67 pips in a week when you can trade GJ, UJ, get 60 something pips in a day. But we'll mark it up. Okay, so the daily, this AU is a really good beginner friendly pair. Let's say that. So within this zone here, right, I need to find another zone. And I see a nice gap right here. So I'm going to take this one. Okay. I'm going to extend it right and left just so that y'all can see the hesitation at the zone. Okay. Let's replace this. Now I still want to measure this. All right, 80 something pips is realistic for AU. Now, AU, EU, GU all gave us this impulsive move the week before last. GU gave us a retracement. EU has not given us a retracement, and it looks like AU hasn't given us a retracement either. I can put my fib back up here just to show y'all, right? So if I pull it to here, price came back 23.6, which let me know it's continuation. I can pull it to here, and I'm just pulling it to my retracements, okay? Price pull it back, 23.6, continuation. Now I'm pulling it here, 23.6. Do I know if price is going to come back lower, right? I have a fair value gap here. Inversion, we kind of got us a price balance range right here on this zone. It would be nice to see price pull back to the 50%, but then that would mean GU would come a little lower and then my buy wouldn't be valid, but it is what it is if it's not, right? So I am going to mark this 27 here because this will be my next TP area. Now, price is at the 23.6. Let me put the fib back up. Price is at the 23.6. Do I know if it's just going to be continuation still or if it's going to give us correction? Right now, I don't know. It's just giving us sideways movement. It's not letting us know. But the great thing about this, again, price is at a zone. What do we want to see at these zones? Breaks and recess. Price has been consolidating right here on AU for a minute. This is ugly. It's been like this for 6 days. It did this all last week. I feel bad for the poor person that was trying to take a trade on this last week. Okay, so this is what we want to see right here at this zone. Retest to take it lower, okay? And there's a fair value gap right here. You can take it into that. And then again, retest to take it higher, okay? This is all we can do is wait. Price is moving away from this area nicely. You can come down to the 15-minute. We already kind of got a 15-minute break and retest here. This is all you want to see as far as the break and retest. Price trade away from the zone, come back to the zone, reject the zone. Okay, that's all the break and retest is. Salut. Let's see. My only thing with this, trying to take this trade right now, is if we look over here, right? You see how price kind of tricked us, right? This is why you wait on a retest. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in so you can see these candles a little better. Price came and gave this huge bearish candle, and I believe this was an engulfing. Not quite an engulfing because it didn't run the high. Let me zoom in. Zoom in some more, okay? See this huge bearish candle? How many pips was this? I know somebody got in at the bottom of this and was like, it's going to sell. This one candle was 38 pips, but this had to be, this was that NFP news, okay? We had NFP on Thursday instead of Friday last week because of the news. Am I frozen to y'all? Oh, okay. I had to make sure I wasn't frozen. So this was an NFP candle. But I'm pretty sure somebody got in at the bottom of this and was like, we're selling. And then what happened? It came back and closed on top. Okay, this is why you want to wait for that retest. You don't want to just let it break. This is why I don't do breakouts. Hey, Alpha. This is why I don't do breakouts. It has to retest, okay? So right now, on the hourly, I see a fair value gap here. What could possibly happen? Price could retest this and then come higher. Or we could possibly get our full correction now. So now since price is underneath here, now since price is underneath here, right? If we don't get a retest of this zone, then we want a retest of this fair value gap, okay? And then we can take it back down. Yes, break and retest is the name of the game, baby. If you don't get no retest, leave it be. That's 60 pips, y'all. That's a nice 60 pips. That's if it sells. If it sells. Okay. Again, I'm not looking for nothing tonight. We're just marking it up, and then we'll be back at 8 a.m. in the morning to try to find a trade. What's fair value gap? Yep, fair value gap is like a zone. I use fair value gaps instead of support and resistance. So you see right here, let me hide this. A fair value gap is when the institutions come in and they put a lot of money into the market, and they put so much money into the market, it leaves a hole in the market. It leaves a gap. Okay. So you see, we got this nice bullish move right here. The market makers came in, they put a lot of money on, and they was like, hey, we finna buy. And it left this hole here. It left a hole here, right? It left one here, and it left one here. But if you look at all the other candles, normally price trades back into the previous candle. So you don't always get a gap, but when you do see a gap, then that's where I look for entries at. Yeah, I like smart money concepts. And then sometimes I use support and resistance, and sometimes I use supply and demand. It just depends on what's going on. Okay. But as you can see, I marked this fair value gap up, which is this purple one right here. And then we look to the left, you see how price respects this area, just like support and resistance. I think it works better than support resistance in my back testing and my trading and my experience. I really didn't have a good experience with support and resistance. And so I found ICT, and of course, he's the one who introduced us to fair value gaps and order blocks. I don't know, somebody before him did it, but I know ICT is the one who introduced me to it. And then my mentor, Tracy Esco, is CS Esco here on TikTok and Instagram. He broke ICT concepts down to me in a way that I was able to understand it. ICT is kind of confusing. I would never suggest anybody to just go to ICT's YouTube and try to figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea what that man was talking about. And then I found my mentor, and I was like, okay, he made it so much easier to understand. So now I'm here trying to do that for y'all for free, right? Because learning how to trade is costly. I've been scammed several times. Like, learning how to trade, I don't know the word for it. Like, there's so many scammers out here. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's like, if you're making so much money in the market, why are you trying to scam people? Because they know people are desperate to make money. So this is why I brought it here to TikTok for free. Okay. Yeah, learning how to trade, it will definitely make you question your existence. Okay. It really will. So we're going to use this gap right here. This one right here on the 4 hour. Okay. This one right here. And then, I'm sorry, we're on the 1 hour. And then this one, this zone right here, which I believe was a gap on the 4 hour. Again, a fair value gap right here. This big fair value gap. And what I'm doing, I use my rectangle tool. This is how I'm getting my lines, guys. It's my rectangle tool over here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down on your tool thing. Okay. You press the arrow, rectangle. Now, I just draw it on my chart. I double click it. I have my middle line marked up to get 50% of that fair value gap, because 9 times out of 10, price is going to come back to 50% of the fair value gap. Sometimes it completely fills in the gap, right? And then sometimes it comes to the order block. Okay, this is an order block. This opposite candle before this impulsive move, sometimes it comes to the order block. But majority of the time, I see it just come to 50% of the fair value gap, okay? All right, so that's what we have on AU. We're just going to see what happens from these two areas. Okay. USD CHF. USD CHF. Let's see. As you can see, it's definitely in a downtrend, right? It's definitely in a downtrend. Structure has not broken. Okay. This was our last low. If we follow our last low up, this would be our last pullback. This would be where price will be breaking structure. So we're technically still in a downtrend, okay? But remember, price can come all the way back up to the last structure point and then continue lower. All right, so let's come on to our monthly. I'm gonna delete this chart. USD CHF is low. Look, it started up here, right? It dropped down and then it's kind of consolidated. It moved sideways for months because remember we're on the monthly time frame. I trade Forex and I trade futures. Before the year is over, I'm gonna learn options lingo because a chart is a chart, right? As long as you learn how to read a chart, you can trade whatever. But I don't know options lingo and I don't know how to like buy and sell on options. Um, the brokers like Weeble and stuff like that looks kind of confusing to me. I did try to figure it out and then I was like, forget it. So, but my goal before the year is out is to have option stuff down. You couldn't do options. Stick with futures. Okay. Yeah, some of the options charts are really, really choppy too. And with a person who trades fair value gaps, if there's too many holes, it's kind of hard to read the chart. Okay, let's see what we have here. I see a fair value gap here, and I see one rejection point, 2, 3. So I'm going to mark this fair value gap up here because it's the closest gap to current price. This one right here. Okay. And you can see right here, Thinkorswim. See, I haven't even looked at Thinkorswim. I'll check that out. So if you can see, I marked this fair value gap. We got our rejection here, and then rejection, rejection. Now we got our bearish impulse move where price finally broke the zone. Okay. We got a minor structure retest here. When you see these, when you see stuff like this, right? Price broke it, came back, retested it. This is a minor structure retest. So I can come down to the 15-minute. And as you can see, let's zoom out, the minor structure retest. Price broke through here, came back, retested here. Okay. Let's go back to our monthly. We got a minor structure retest, but we don't have a major structure retest. So eventually price has to come back and retest this area again. So I am going to change this zone just to a solid line. And now we can come down to our weekly and let's see. Okay. Even on the weekly, we got a break and retest. Okay, so we did get a major structure retest. Okay, so as you see, price broke it, came back, retested, and we're going lower. But I don't have a zone down there. So let's go back to our monthly because where the heck is it going? I can mark this wick right here as a zone because this is all I have. There's nothing else down there. I have these two candles, okay? So currently on my monthly, I'm just going to mark this wick on this candle. And then hopefully as we go down into price, we can find something else. Okay. So now let's come to our weekly and then let's scroll over and let's see what it's saying on the weekly within this zone. Still kind of don't have anything. I do see a gap here, but price is underneath that gap now. But let's mark it up. All right, and then we'll just come back to current price. You can see price is underneath this area here. Let's come down to our daily. All right, so we got our impulsive break. We need a retest of this area. And right here on this zone, we have another fair value gap. Right here. Okay. So eventually price has to come back up to this zone. But I'm still looking for another zone in between this one and this one. So let's come over on our daily. Price hasn't been this low since 2011, guys. 2011. And as you can see, I just did this area for a higher time frame, that wick. And as you can see, there's a fair value gap right here. So I'm going to leave that, but I still need something in between here. And I know there's something, it has to be something there because you see this consolidation right here. We kept getting rejection. Price kept testing something in this area before it decided to move higher. And what was that something? Let's come down to the 4 hour. Let's see if it's showing us here on the 4 hour. And that's even if I can see this area on the 4 hour because it's so far back in price. I don't even think I can see anything. Okay, so let's come back to our daily. And now this is where I will use support and resistance, okay? So all right. Now this is where I'm just going to put a line right here and use support resistance because as you can see, price kind of touched this area. Let's go with right here, the low of this one. Okay. And as you can see, each candlestick touched this area. And it seems like it's like directly in the middle of the zone. It's 161 pips, that zone, and then this zone, 150, okay? 161 pips for USD CHF. Let's go to the weekly. I'm not sure about its weekly range. I don't really trade this one. Let's use this small candle right here, that black one. 75 pips. And then this one, 153. So 160 pips might be pushing it for USD CHF. And I don't have any other zone that I can mark, so we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave that. Okay. And technically, since this rejected, I could just pull this up here to here, since that was our last rejection point. Since I really don't have anything else to go by. Okay. So now I'm gonna come down to my daily. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna delete this area just because I have a fair value gap right here, and I'm gonna use this fair value gap instead of that zone that was marked. Okay, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then I have another fair value gap here to break this zone up. Okay, now this is where we are on current price. This is today's candle. So of this zone, let me just tighten that up. This zone here, we got our break and we got our retest, but its price going to continue lower. So let's come down to our 4 hour and let's see what's going on. Okay. We got some rejection here. We got a nice little pin bar, but price is moving sideways. We got consolidation in this fair value gap right here. I'm not going to mark this fair value gap up. Okay. I'm not going to mark this one up simply because I have this one. And this is the one that I want to pay more attention to. Although price did react from it. Now I'm going to come to my hourly. And what is my hourly telling me? I have a trend line here. I have rejection and rejection. So I am going to mark that trend line. Okay. Now we have hesitation right here on this trend line. This is beautiful. We have a trend line and we have a zone. Okay. Break and retest, same thing. I do break and retest on trend line, break and retest on the zone. Let price trade away from this trend line and then come back, retest it, and then we'll take it back to the last low. I am not going to take it any lower than that last low because this zone is so far and I don't have anything in between this zone to let me know uh-oh to let me know what's gonna stop price from trading in there. I don't know. So I'm gonna let price show me throughout the week if it's gonna trade any lower. I'm gonna let price create that next zone for me. Okay. So right now, back to that last low. It's a nice 70 pips, which is good. Okay. And then if price decides to go higher, we have this zone here. And as you can see, right in this zone, we have this 1 hour fair value gap. Take it back to there. That's if price buys. Okay. And that's 76 pips up. Okay. So again, trading is a game of probabilities. We're just gonna let the market show us what it's gonna do. Right now, it's not showing us anything but consolidation. It's just moving sideways. It's been moving sideways for 2 days. Okay, because of the 4th of July, because of the holiday last week. All right, odd CAD giving us that little push down like AU was doing. I don't think odd CAD is a good pair. Let's see. What odd CAD look like? I don't trade odd CAD. Does anybody in the chat trade odd CAD? If we don't, we're gonna skip this one. I'm gonna delete this one. It's just an ugly pair. All right. I'm gonna delete odd CAD. AJ. AJ's kind of wonky. A lot of JPY pairs are a little bit wonky though. Let's see. I'm gonna go to our monthly. Okay. Before I do AJ, is there a pair in here that you guys want marked up? Because I'm not gonna do any of these CHF pairs unless y'all want it marked up. NZD CAD is trash. Odd NZD is trash. CHF. CJ. CJ kind of look like EJ. We can mark that one up. Euro NZD. What's going on here? We can see what's going on with that. It looks like trash. EuroCAD. Gold. I can go back to gold. We marked it up already. I'll show you the markup. Ooh, GBP CAD looks nice. Off the bat. Impulse, correction, continuation. It's sitting inside of a gap. I'm about to buy GBP CAD just off of looking at this. CAD JPY, we'll mark that one up. AJ, okay. All right, I'm going to mark up, was that GBP CAD? Uh-oh. We'll mark GBP CAD up next. Let me show you gold. What did we have? Where is it? Oh, gold is about to hit our TP. See, this is, I don't do FOMO, right? I like to track it just to see if I'm going to be right. It's cool to not take a trade. It's cool just to take a mental trade, guys. Okay. So gold, I was looking for it to sell. It's selling. Currently, just gonna wait. I have this trend line here from the daily, right? We have this rejection point and this rejection point. I want to see if price is gonna come down to this trend line, okay? And right here at the trend line, we have a zone, and I see another fair value gap right here. Right here. I want to see price hit this trend line, and then I'll be buying. Especially with it selling off as heavy as it's doing right now. Okay. Kind of salty, but we'll leave it be. Let's see. The dollar's still consolidating, but GU. Okay, I'll leave that alone. Gold's about to hit my TP, but I was skeptical again because look at how low it is on the indicator, right? And I don't like buying when it's really low at the indicator, but it's just dropping. It's just dropping. Okay, GBP CAD is next. That one looks nice. And I'm about to buy it off the strength of this break and retest. Okay. All right. Let's delete this chart. Let's come up to our monthly. Let's figure out what's going on. Zoom in. GBP CAD has hit all-time lows back in 2022. It looks like it's trying to push up and gain its strength. It's sitting inside of this order block right here, okay? So order block, supply and demand zone, right? Same thing. You have this up move before this impulsive down move. So I am going to mark this. This is my first time. This is the first time y'all have seen me mark an order block. Like I said, I use supply and demand, order blocks, fair value gap, support, resistance. Just depends on what the pair is showing me, okay? And as you can see, price hit that 50%, and it looks like it's trying to turn around and reject that area. All right, so I'm going to mark this area, and then I'm also going to mark my fair value gap up here, because if price trades through, it's going to come up here to this area. All right, now I see this fair value gap here. Okay, and that was my last area that price came from. Okay, now we have price boxed off. Let's come to our weekly. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, we kind of had this zone here, right? Support area, right? We got rejection, rejection, rejection. Price gave us a nice impulsive move and then came back and retested it. Okay, I'm going to use this fair value gap though, because that's what it retested. It retested that 50% of that area. Okay, and now I have another fair value gap here. All right, so now we got a break, retest, continuation. So let's go down to our daily. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so now on our daily, as you can see, we got some type of zone up in here, okay, because we got all this hesitation right here. I don't, I do. I see a fair value gap right here. All right, and there's the zone beautifully. Now this is what I saw. Well, it was on the 4-hour, but break, retest. I want to see price come back up here. GBP CAD moves pretty nicely sometimes, and you can easily get 200 pips off of GBP CAD. So I'm going to leave this zone. Or let's mark this gap up just because I see hesitation right here. I don't want to overextend it, right? because I don't want to think it's going back up to the high and then I get some type of rejection here and then I close my trade with less money than what I could have made, you know? Okay. Now let's come down to our 4-hour. All right. And again, here on our 4-hour, we can see we got this nice impulsive move. I can put a fib on this. This is the start of my impulse to the start of my correction. Okay, this is my correction. Oh, this is beautiful. Price pull back to the 618. So I'm going to take this to the 27. I'm not even going to take this back up to the high. So this is one that I am going to hold through all of that rockiness. Okay, if price comes here, right, I'm going to hold it because I know eventually it's going to break through because it has to give me my continuation. Okay, and price is currently in this zone here. So I did get in this one. I'm holding this, which would which would go hand in hand with my GU buy, right? Because they're both GBP. So I can go over to futures, right? If you don't know this, you can go over to futures and you can type in M6B1. And nope, this is GBP USD. I want just GBP. So let's find just GBP, just the pound. Because you can look at just the pound. Oh, okay, here it is. 6B, British Pound Futures, okay? And then I have like the yen, 6J is the yen, right? So if you don't know this, you can, if you just stick to one pair, right? Let's say you're sticking it to GU, you'll mark up. Let me delete this because this ain't right. Where did it go? Did I not add it? I did add it. It must have went to the bottom. Okay. Okay. So if you're sticking to one pair, right, you can mark up 3 charts to come up with your bias. Okay. You can mark up British Pound Futures. You can mark up the DXY, and then you can mark up GU. Okay. And marking up all 3 of those, you should come up with your bias on that one pair, right? So if we look at, this is the pound. This is GU. So this is the pound. This is the dollar. And then this is GU. Okay. So I was saying that GBP CAD and GU should be moving in the same direction because they both have the pound in front. And if I come over here to the pound, we have the same thing. We got that impulsive move. We got our correction. Now we're looking for our continuation, okay? All right, so this is what we have. It's a 5-to-1. It's kind of a wide stop loss, 79 pips. Okay, I'm putting my stop loss below that last low there. And then I can put this gap here. Okay, and we can see prices on top of this gap here. All right. Technically, stop loss is supposed to be below the low of this fair value gap. But that is way too wide. It's still a 3-to-1, which is good. We want everything to be a 2-to-1 or higher. We don't do any 1-to-1 trades. Okay. But I'm just going to pull it below this last low. All right. And then if I zoom in here on this 4-hour and look at these candlesticks on this zone, okay, let's look at these candlesticks on this zone. Price gave us an inside bar here, and it gave us a pin bar, okay? gave us a pin bar and an inside bar. So technically the entry is supposed to be at the top of the mother candle and stop loss at the low of the mother candle, okay? So we got a good entry on this. I'm buying GBP CAD. All right, if y'all get in, let me know if you get in. I'm going to post this one on TikTok. Okay, I'm going to post a screenshot of this trade. Let me know if you get in. When TP hit, let me know. TP, let me show you how to find your TP. All right, so our TP is here. We're going to go over on our 4 hour and we're just going to look for a familiar candlestick if we can. It don't look like nothing is up here. Let's go on our daily. It's been a long time since price has been up here. Okay, let me change the TP line to blue and then let's go over. Okay, so now on your broker, because all of our numbers are different, I just can't give you an exact number, but what I can tell you is to go to your broker, right? Go to your daily chart, zoom over and look for this rejection and this rejection. Okay, there's a fair value gap right here. Zoom in, right? You should easily be able to find this candle on your daily. You see this huge candle, you should be able to find this huge rejection candle all the way from 2016. Price has not been up here since 2016. Dang, this candle is huge. Okay, now you find this huge candle. The top of the body of that huge candle is your TP. Okay, and I'm just gonna mark this gap. Okay, so again, go to your daily, scroll over to the left, find this huge candle. The top body of that candle is your TP. Okay, this bad boy say 400 pips, y'all. For 400 pips, this is a swing trade. I don't even think I'm gonna hold this for that long. I don't know. We'll see. Let's look at news. We've been on here for 2.5 hours and I don't even trade the rest of these, and nobody said that they have a certain pair that they wanted me to mark up. So I think after this we are going to hop off. Okay, so let's look at news and see if we have any GBP news that's going to give us that big push, right? So tomorrow we have some odd news. It's a pretty slow day, a lot of yellow folder. Tuesday we have more red folder, all news, odd, and then we have NZD, hey Robin. Thursday we have unemployment claims, and Friday CAD and GDP on GBP. So it's looking like a slow news week. So we may not get this TP. So let's do a more realistic TP for now, just because I don't see price pushing up 400 pips this week on GBP CAD. But let's measure our weekly candles on GBP CAD, right? I'm going to hide all of my lines, right? And the week before last, this is why I said GBP CAD, you can get some good trades. So we're going to measure that week before last candle. And look, week before last was 407 pips. 407 pips. So we may get this push. Last week, 299 pips. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do a TP1 and then a TP2. Okay? TP1, this fair value gap right here on the hourly, just because I see this little rejection here and here, right? So let's put this here. And you see that little rejection right there? So TP1 is here. Okay. And then TP2 is there. So TP1 is still 150 freaking pips, y'all. Like, that's a good trade. Okay. So This is going to be one. When I have two TPs, what I do is I split my position. So if you have enough to do $1 in your account, do two positions. One, both of them will be 50 cents. Okay. Set TP for TP1 at this zone here. And then for one trade, okay. And then your second trade, you'll set TP for TP2. Okay. Up here. And that's what I do when I have two TPs. So that way, the first one automatically takes us out, and then the second one, you can just continue to move stop loss up into profit, or you can just put stop loss at break even and then just let it run, because we don't know how long it's going to take for TP to hit. This could be a trade that goes into next week. We don't know. Okay. But we don't have a lot of news, so that's a good thing. Sorry about that. We don't have a lot of news. What is it, a buy? Yep, we're buying GBP CAD. Entry here, stop loss below this hour, TP1 in this hourly fair value gap right here, and then TP2 at this daily. You got to go all the way over on your broker, find this big daily candle. You should not be able to miss this huge daily candle. And the top of the body is TP2. GBP CAD. GBP CAD, okay? All right. All right, so I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'll be here at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm probably going to mark the rest of these up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to mark them up or not, because I think we got enough anyways. Okay. I am in a buy on GBP USD, but if you didn't get in earlier, just leave GBP USD alone and get into GBP CAD. Look at go. Go hit TP. TP smack. Did anybody get in it even though I said I wasn't getting in it? On a Sunday. This is why you see people coming here in the comments and somebody was like, oh, I wouldn't buy it, I wouldn't sell it into such and such. Don't listen to them. Do not listen to them. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, EU's playing around. Oh, GJ hit my stop loss. GJ hit my stop loss. So now that GJ hit my stop loss, right? Now I just want to wait to see, is price going to retest this area and come lower, right? Or is it just trading through to fill in this gap and then going to come higher? So GJ is going to be one of those ones where just wait until tomorrow to get another entry to figure out what's going on. All right, so y'all should only be in GBP CAD. Possibly GU if you bought it earlier. All right, so I am going to end my TikTok live and I'm going to go over to YouTube. I do trade live on YouTube also. Hey, Regina, I'll be here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. No, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, because that's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to be here before the market opens. But tonight, I'm going to go to YouTube and just run my YouTube live, and it'll just track what GBP CAD is doing. I'm sorry, yes, you missed everything, but I can't say that this is going to be downloaded tonight because yesterday's video I'm still trying to download. So it'll be downloaded between tonight and tomorrow, okay? But I will be back in the morning, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. And then tomorrow evening, 5 or 6 p.m. And then we'll start our chart pattern book, okay? All right, so any questions before we get off of here? Any questions? be your first trade, you can get in a GBP CAD. It's a 70 pip stop loss. How much money do you have in your account? Are you the one who in the group? I didn't even call it. Let's call GBP CAD in the group because this looks like a good one. Yes, from the other day. Okay, I just sent it in the group. Let me find the stop loss for them. I'm going to send this one in the free for our free weekly signal too. Mm. 3 days ago. Okay. Okay, so GBP CAD is the first trade, okay? Looking for stop loss. Let's see. Especially since it's also looking real good because it ran this liquidity here. It's looking good. Um, found this. Are we disconnected? It said the live was disconnected. All right, guys. I just sent that to the group. I sent it to the free group and to the Signal group, and I'm gonna post it on TikTok. Yeah, you can message me. Message me on Discord, okay? It's better than TikTok. All right, and let's find our TP. One 1.87231. Oop, that's wrong. All right, guys. Nobody has any questions. We are gonna go. You have $100 to start, so you need to do 0.01 lot size, okay? 0.01, nothing higher. When you get to $200, then you do 0.02, okay? Every $100, you go up 10 cents, okay? Hey, CQRCA. Yep, 0.01. 0.01. 10 cents. Got it? All right, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. It's 8:39. We're going to sign off. I will see y'all in the morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, if you're ready to make some money. All right? Look out for DM in an hour. Okay. Will do. All right. Later, guys. Y'all have a great night and hopefully a great week.